Good afternoon. So today we're going to continue on with finding the circumference of the circle using the diameter, but we're also going to change it. We're going to find the diameter of an object by using the circumference. So it's kind of handy because I don't have a caliper or something, a scientific instrument that would take two ends and absolutely perfectly squeeze this and give me an exact diameter of the ball, but I do have something that can measure the circumference of an object, and then we'd be able to find out how wide it is, the diameter. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So those are our two objectives. So to start off with, we're going to start with what are our vocab words for the day. Some of these words we've had before and you should know them. I am going to ask you for one more term, however, and see if anybody paid attention on measuring the planets, the science paper that we did a little while ago. So we're going to look at the definition of a circle. A circle is a round shape with all the points the same distance from a central point. So here's our central point, and in a perfect circle, every point from here, and of course I did that because that's what I always do in class, right? I always forget to push the annotation button. That and that, and that. They should all be the same length because that circle is in the very center of, or that dot is in the very center of the circle. So let's clear those out. A radius. A radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. So a radius, simply put, is right there. This is our radius, and we'll put a small r there. Now the diameter. That's the distance across from one side of the circle through the center of the circle. So the diameter would be that right there. Now that's from one part of the circle to another edge of the circle. Here's where I'm going to test you to see if you can remember. If I have a line that goes from the edge of the circle and it goes to the edge of the circle, but it does not cut through the center point of the circle, does anyone remember what that is called? I know. A chord. Yes, a chord. When it's a line that goes from one part of the circle to another, but it does not pass through the center point, that's called a chord. Thank you very much. So looking at this now, our last definition is pi. And pi is a number approximately equal to 3.14. Now, what is pi? Can anybody really tell me? And don't say pi is 3.14. Can somebody tell me what pi is? What does pi represent? Well, the definition is something that we've done this year, and that is a ratio. Pi is approximately 3.14159. It goes on and on forever and ever and ever. But it is a ratio of a circle's circumference. That means the circumference in relationship to its diameter. It's essentially, it never changes. If I have a diameter of 1 inch, then the circumference is going to be 3.14 inches. If I have a circumference of 10 inches, it's going to be 31.4 inches. 100 inches, it's going to be 314 inches. The ratio always, that number is a ratio. And it's what we take the diameter of a circle and we multiply it, and it will always give us the circumference. It is a constant. All right. And it will, in other words, like we showed before, when we took this with our little arrow on it and we rolled it over the surface and went from where the arrow was down, 1 revolution to where it was down, and measured it, that was the circumference of the round container. And then if we divided it by 3.14, we would get the diameter. So today we're going to be looking at our working with finding our circumference and our diameters using the other of the two. So let's turn to page 2 and look at our formula review. Our formula review is right here. What this says right here is that circumference equals pi times diameter. What is diameter again? You remember? Okay, who remembers what diameter is? Give me the definition of diameter. Go ahead.
The distance across the circle to the center.
Yes. A line that goes across the circle that cuts through the center of the circle. So that's our diameter. But you should also remember, looking at it this way. What is that called? What is that line called? Go ahead. Radius, absolutely, fantastic. But if I continue that line across, well, what is that line now called? Somebody else? Sir? No. The line that goes from one side of the circle to the other and goes through the center point. Sorry.
The diameter.
Diameter. So did you notice that the diameter is 1, 2 radiuses? 2 times a radius. If you multiply the radius by 2, you get the diameter. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, so if I have the radius go from here to here and the radius go from there to there, this is the diameter? No, that's not the diameter. Measurement is the same, that's just 2 radiuses. That is not the diameter. Diameter is a line that goes from one side to the other through the center point. Okay? Continuing on. So if the radius is 3, that means that the diameter would be 2 times the radius. If the radius is 3, the diameter would be? Diameter would be? All right, good, 6. Now we have 6. Circumference equals pi 6. Pi 6 means pi times 6. That's our diameter. Is 6. So now we have 6 times 3.14, because that is pi. That never changes. We multiply it here. There's 24. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. 2 decimal places here. We move it over. And our circumference is 18.84. They have 18.85 because they took it up to 3.1415, you know, but 18.84. So we all understand our radius, our diameter, how we use pi to get to our circumference. All right, so let's look at our mini lesson. The mini lesson example 1. Find the circumference with the diameter of 8 inches. So who can tell me how we go about doing that problem? Who would like to take a shot at it? It's right here on the paper. Can I have a volunteer, please? I'm going to pick some. Okay. Isaac Martinez, come on up. Come on up, sir. I'm taking it from the Civil War. Were these bullet holes that you took in the Civil War? I mean, I'm looking. You went to the Living Museum. It must have been fun because you're covered with stickers. All right. So, right here, here's our mini lesson. So we have a diameter of 8. All right. What is our circumference? So first, write our formula down up on the board. So C equals pi d. Okay, now change it with the information that we know. Do we know what circumference is? No. Do we know what pi is?
Yes, sir.
So write C equals. Times 8. Excellent. That's our diameter. Now do the multiplication. Notice he's so uncomfortable when I called him up here, but he is still doing it because he knows it. And you all could do the same. If I call one of you up, I know that I could have you do it. (25.12 inches would be the circumference. Who thinks he's right? I do too. Outstanding. Good job. Good job. Give me a round of applause. Fantastic. So we had 25.12 inches is our measure. But now, what if we have the circumference, but we don't have the diameter? Well, let's write our initial formula. C equals pi d. Now you're all going to recite with me my algebra mantra that we've been doing all year. Okay? We want to find the diameter. So we're trying to find the variable d. What's happening to d?
Getting multiplied.
What's it being multiplied by? By pi. What's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Okay, so we're going to divide by pi. Anything we do to one side, we do to the other. We're going to divide by pi. This cancels out here, and that leaves circumference divided by pi equals diameter. So now instead of taking our diameter and multiplying it by pi to get circumference, we're going to take our circumference and we are going to divide it by pi to get our diameter. It's just the opposite way. We multiplied one way, now we're going to divide this way. So on this one, we have the we need to find the diameter when the circumference is 31.4. We're going to divide by pi. And that will equal our diameter. Does anyone already see the answer? What is pi? 3.14. We have 31.4 divided by 3.14. When we're dividing by a decimal, is it important that we line up the decimals? No. When do we have to line up our decimals? When we are what? Sorry. Adding or subtracting. But when we set it up in the working form like this, now what we want to do is move the decimal point over. And if we move it 2 places over here, we're going to move it 2 places over here. We're going to gain a 0. And what we're going to end up with is (314) goes into 3,140. Could you answer the phone, please? Thank you. 314 goes in 314 one time. And then there's a 0 left over. 10. Okay? So what I would like you to do to start with, what I want you to do is we are going to be doing our independent practice part A. We're going to find the circumference first. Now, I understand multiplication is a little difficult for some. That is okay. Can I have the first 4 people over there? Can I have you grab some of the calculators that are in the back there and give 2 to each table for me, please? Okay? And that way, if you need a calculator, it's there. I prefer you try it on your own. But if not, I understand. Yep. So the first problem, they gave us the diameter of 5. If they give you the diameter, what formula do we use? I know it. Pi times diameter equals circumference, absolutely. So I want you to start working on 1, 2, and 3. And then I want you to talk it over with your partner. 1, 2, and 3, talk it over with your table mates. And then I want you as a group to finish the rest of those so that we can move on to finding our diameter. Since when they give us a circumference, I'm going to give you 5 minutes on this. 5 minutes. You have calculators. You should have calculators. Do we have any more? We need some over here. Oh, well, you're going to get 7 minutes. Lucky you. Okay. So do the first 3 and then let's discuss it with our partners. So if you notice that it says use 3.14 for pi, what you should do up at the top before you do anything, write the formula C equals pi d. That way you know the formula you're going to be using throughout. Oh, back up on the board. That is the formula that we are going to be using. C equals pi d. So now you have diameter. So look over here. You have pi. What is pi? Right? And diameter is 5. Okay, so 5 times 3.14. Multiply it across. So 5 times, okay, so 5 times 4. Okay, put the 0 there, put the 2 up there. 5 times 1 is. No, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is. So like I said in that, now 5 times 3. 15. So the answer is. So, okay, now this one said that was same way, but this time you're going to multiply it by 12. Okay. That's what Not like yours. Yes. Yes. So equals the one square times that is fine. So you're having trouble with your multiplication, you may use the calculator. It's there to assist. Good done, Gael. Very nice. Stands. Just worried about the first three problems. We have to do one all done. I could. Okay, so we're gonna just do the first three. So that we can move on to finding the diameter when you have circumference of an object. But the first problem that we had was the diameter was 5 centimeters. So with it being 5 centimeters, simply put, you put 3.14 and you multiply it by 5. 20, 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. Times 3 is 15. We have 15.7 centimeters. Okay. With this formula, C equals pi d, you should already have written. And then whatever the d is, you put it there. And all of your working form that you do, when you're doing it by multiplication, will be 3.14 times whatever d is. And you use that for every single one of them. You could set up if you wish, just have it written. Have those all set up. And then problem 2 is 12. Problem 3 was 7. Problem 4 was 20. And then you just do your multiplication and work it down. 8, 6, 7, 3, 37.68 was problem number 2. Problem number 3. 21.28 or 0.98. And problem number 4 was 62.8. Did you get those right? Okay, I hope I did. Did that off the top of my head. All right, let's go on to independent practice number part B. We're only going to do a couple of these and we'll do these together because they're fairly new and it involves our division, and we'll work on it again tomorrow. And when we're done, we have our critical thinking and we're going to have you do your synthesis of learning. So the first one is, if we know that the circumference, so if we took a piece of string and we wrapped it around this volleyball, and we went to the end of the string and we found out the end of the string goes all the way around and meets up there. So this is the length right here. That's the circumference of our volleyball. And we measured it. And let's say that it came to be 18.84 centimeters. It's more, but let's say it's 18.84 centimeters. Okay, we have our circumference. Remember that the formula is circumference divided by pi equals diameter. So we have our circumference divided by pi equals our diameter. 18.84 divided by 3.14. What's the first thing I do when we're going to be dividing with decimals? What's the first thing I want to do with this working form? Edgar. Move the decimals. We're going to move the decimal 3.14. We're going to move it 2 places over, making it 314. But since we moved it 2 places over here, we have to do it to here as well. Moving the decimal over to here, and that gives us 1,884. Now, can 314 be divided into 1? No, it can't. Can it be divided into 18? Can 314 go into 188? No. How many times will it go into 1,884? All right, so I'm going to look at the 3 as 300. 300 times 6 is 1,800. So I know that 6 would be close to it. 7 would be 21, so it can't be that. Let's try 6. Okay. 6 times 4, 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Look at that. It's like they wanted us to get this correct. So what is our diameter? Somebody tell me, what's the diameter on this problem? Go ahead, sir.
6.
6 what? Read on the paper. 6 what? Diameter equals 6 centimeters. Questions on that? None? All right. That was question number 1. I would like everybody to do question number 2. Do question number 2. And then we're going to wrap it up for the day. You are going to be tomorrow putting together your critical thinking questions. There is one bonus question at the end. And then we will have our synthesis of learning tomorrow. So everyone work right now on question number 2. If you have questions, I will be here. And then when we are done, we'll go over the answer and then we will wrap it up for the day. So remember, our formula is going to be circumference divided by pi. They give you the circumference, you'll divide it by pi to get your diameter. So you got them. Yeah. See, most people are done. So. First step when we set it up in the working form is we. Move the decimals. 2 places over, so the decimal is gonna go there. You move the decimal here 2 places over, so now it's going to be out here. And then we divide 314 into 6,280. 314 cannot go into 6, it cannot go into 62, but it will go into 628. It will go into 628 2 times. 2 times 314 is 628. Leaving 0, bring down the next number, which is 0. Our diameter, if our circumference is 62.8, our diameter is 20. We did it in inches, 20 inches. Tomorrow we'll work on the rest of those problems, and then we will start our critical thinking and our synthesis of learning. Do I have any questions right now? Okay, somebody ask me any question. Yes, please.
Packet gonna be good.
This packet will be due at the end of the week, but not now. Okay? No questions? All right. It is time. Let's pack up and get ready to go.